Now, it's early in the season yet, but I think we have just witnessed the worst game so far for the Utah Hockey Club. Shutout 4-0 at home by the Ottawa Senators. We're going to talk about a little post-game reaction to that Sens game right here, right now on the Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast.
You are Locked On Utah Hockey Club, your daily podcast on the Utah Hockey Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, Tom Callahan here with you, and thanks for joining me. And you know what? It's a tough one tonight, 4-0, the final score on this one. We're going to break it down a little bit. Robin's got the night off, so you and I are going to take a trip through this one together. So tonight's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Well, if you saw the thumbnail, you know that I titled this one Blanked and Yanked. Not good all the way around. There's a lot of things that we can get into, and just as I was digesting some of the numbers and looking at the stats before getting into this post-game show here tonight, I mean, it's pretty obvious. First and foremost, we have to start with Connor Ingram. At the time, it was 4 goals on 8 shots. It has now been revised to 4 goals on 9 shots. Still not great, but 4 goals in the first period. And while I'm not going to fault Ingram on everything, your goaltender's got to give you some big saves sometimes. They didn't get that tonight. Ottawa just seemed to be able to make the most of their opportunities. And there's a lot of ways you can take this. You can talk about the defense, which we have talked about in the past. And believe me, we're going to talk more about in the future, I'm sure, especially being shorthanded. I think the Boston game, we were a little giddy with that, right? I mean, you hold the Big Bad Bruins to 1 goal. You go to overtime, you win it there. Both your goals come from the defense. So that looked good. Tonight, no goals at all. And the goaltending didn't help you. Ingram didn't help you. And this is what I was talking about. And it's funny, I got roasted for saying this in the summer, but that Connor Ingram was not yet a top 10 NHL goaltender. And games like this, not that top 10 NHL goaltenders didn't have nights off. You know, Patrick Waugh had a bad night every now and then. Marty Brodeur had a bad night every now and then. But against a team like the Senators, you need to get the saves to keep you in it and push your team forward when they don't have their best period. Now, defensively, they didn't have their best period. The other thing is, really, Ottawa, I mean, 15 seconds into a power play, puck's in the net. That's demoralizing. Under a minute to go in the first period, you let in another goal, and that was the 4th goal. That's demoralizing. And it snowballed. Everything that possibly could go wrong with that first did go wrong. So they turned to Vejmelka in the second. He was fine. As a matter of fact, he was very good. But then you look at the second period and you say, okay, you had a clunker of a first. If you're going to come back in a game like this, how do you come back from a clunker of a first? Well, you do it by saying, you know what? Okay, that was bad. That was bad. Nothing we could do. Now what are we going to do? And I think that what happens after that is you have to come back and have a good second period. You have to have a good third period. They had a good goaltending performance, and that's really all I can give Utah. Looking at the stats from tonight, just by period. So after you give up 4 goals on 9 shots, and you were out shooting the Senators 10-9. Okay. You clamp down. You only allow 5 shots in the second period. Good. It's what you're supposed to do. Ottawa doesn't score again. They didn't score again for the rest of the night. After that point, they only had 14 more shots on goal. They only had 23 in the game. Utah comes out with 14. But no goals. And really, what kind of perturbs me about this, it was a low penalty affair. I told you Ottawa only had 1 power play, and they were only on it for 15 seconds, and they scored. Utah only got 2. In a game like this, where you're spending so much time 5-on-5, I need to see more out of pretty much everybody. There were times when it looked like Utah might be threatening. There were times when they were moving the puck around well. Actually, again, I don't mind the puck movement in power play one. They look good, but you got to get shots through. You have to get shots on net. That's how you generate off your opportunities, especially when you only have 2 power plays in a game. And that's the other thing that really I think bothers me about a lot of this. Just kind of, again, you look at the stats, they just didn't generate with the power play time. It looked good, it looked snappy, moving the puck around, but at the end of the day, what did you actually do there? You didn't score a goal. You didn't necessarily even threaten to score a goal. And I think you have to be working harder to generate more power plays. So it was a pedestrian game. Perfect road game by Ottawa. They were fine with getting 5 shots. They had a 4-0 lead. Ottawa wasn't all that concerned. Forsberg didn't have to do a ton in net. So they just kind of back it off. They let the game come to them. And Utah tried to bring it to them, but just not getting that quality of shots, not getting those high dollar scoring opportunities. And that's, to me, that's part of what the problem is. So I'm looking at it from a standpoint, and I'm thinking to myself, geez, I'm watching this Utah Hockey Club, and I just feel like they played a team that said, all right, if you want to move the puck around the perimeter, move the puck around the perimeter. We don't really care. And it looks fancy. It looks cool. A lot of snappy passes, moving it around. You could cycle on the wall, but if you never bring that cycle off the wall and generate the chances, what are you doing? And if you're moving the puck around up top, but you're not getting the shots through, or if you are getting the shots through, they're from outside the perimeter or they're low percentage shots, Ottawa's going to take that all day. They get bodies in front of the net. And that doesn't bother them. You can fire those pucks all day. And even taking a look, shots versus shot attempts, 31 shots in the game. 18 of those are blocks. 23 were missed shots. So hit the net is another one. And that's one that kind of, stands out to me as well. I mean, Ottawa was getting in front of pucks. So you have to get those through. 18 attempts blocked. And, Josh Doan had 3 shots. He had 3 attempts blocked. He had 2 missed shots. At least he's firing the puck. And, Michelli ends up with Gunther. They both have 4 shots. But I just feel like there's a lot missing here. And there was no spark. At no point did I feel like Utah had it tonight. And again, I understand you're going to have these games over 82 games. But what makes it concerning, the way tonight panned out, was the fact that you are kind of defensively bereft right now. You know that you're struggling on the back end, and you have that kind of first period, and now you're trying to turn it around. Well, the one thing we have said about this team is, well, up front, scoring goals shouldn't be a problem. Tonight it was. I'm not going to say that's a pattern. I'm not going to say it's going to hold, but that is something they need to correct. And you know what? That bad first period, they never really got around that. So that to me was troubling. It was difficult. So that was a tough one, but that's kind of how things ended up. All right, we're going to try to hold on to hear from head coach Andre Tourney here. Try to see if we can get some post-game comments from him. Let's take a quick break right now. We'll come back with more in just a moment on this Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast. And tonight's show is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get the hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. So check it out, FanDuel. And you know what? Honestly, I think tonight, we talked about the odds heading into this game. I don't know. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. All right. So as we come back here from that commercial break, and yeah, the odds in the FanDuel, we looked at them, and it was a close game. Both teams were close. The money was moving either way. I didn't see this result coming. I didn't see 4-0. I don't think a lot of people saw 4-0. I did not see, number one, Ottawa, a team that was giving up 4 goals a game, shutting out Utah. That's another point that was concerning to me. Yeah, Ottawa's been giving up goals. And tonight, Utah made them look really good. And that is a problem. Again, we talk about this gap. This is the discussion that we have, right? This is the gap. Okay, I want my Utah Hockey Club, and I'm just saying, hey, fans, this is you talking, not me. But you want your Utah Hockey Club to be in the running. You want your Utah Hockey Club to be in the playoffs. You want them to be a potential wild card team. You're seeing the gap here. To make that leap, Ottawa's the team you have to beat because Ottawa is a wild card team on the other side of the table in the Eastern Conference. You need to beat those guys if you want to be ahead of them. And Utah looked like they were not a match for Ottawa in a lot of ways tonight. And Ottawa has not had the best start to the season. Again, like I say, they've been giving up a lot of goals. They've got some goaltending questions. You didn't even get Linus Ullmark because he's still dinged up and didn't play, which was an absolute blessing that you didn't face the number one. So you get Forsberg. And Forsberg, the volume of shots was there, but didn't really have to do anything crazy to protect that lead. Again, there was no time where I felt like, man, Utah's going to break through. They're going to get a goal or two here. It could come in bunches. There were some opportunities. There were a couple of chances, but there was nothing that sustained itself that made me feel like in period 2, period 3, that they were ready to dig themselves out of the hole. And I was sitting there waiting and seeing if they were going to be able to do it. So to me, that's another tough one. And again, I don't want to hang all this on the goaltending, but you need a better performance out of your starter, Connor Ingram, tonight. Are they running him a little too much early in the season? Veggie comes in, looks good for 2 periods, but by then it's too late. You want to have a little bit more of a rotation, especially in today's NHL. The days of guys starting 70 games gone, 60 games, probably not, with few exceptions. Maybe an Andrei Vasilevsky might still get to 60, but you're looking at 50, 55 for your starters. So and here's the other thing is, I said this in the preseason, the pressure's on Veggie to have a good year. It's contract year, and last year of the deal, he's got to figure it out. He's 27, going to be 28. If he's going to be an NHL starter somewhere, has to start to prove it now. If he's going to catch on somewhere else, has to prove it now. If he wants an extension here, has to prove it now. I think he's doing okay. I think he's had a nice start to the year. I really haven't had anything to complain about from the Southpaw netminder. I'm good with how he's looked. So, and you know me, I'm critical of the goaltenders. So I haven't minded the way he's looked at all. And so that's fine. I think, okay, we're good on the goaltending front with that, but you got to use him a little more. So game 6, should he have 2 starts by now? That's 66% for Ingram, 33%-ish for, Vejmelka. I think that's a fair and equitable split. And it's not like this was a back-to-back. It's not like they came in off travel. They played at home. Just Ingram wasn't, I don't even know if he wasn't ready tonight. It was just a flat response, a bad first period. No one did what they were supposed to do. That's why the puck kept ending up in the back of the net. You didn't get the big save. You didn't get the shot block. You didn't get the puck out. You didn't break up the plays. You took a penalty. The penalty killed 15 seconds and gives up a goal. Like nothing went their way in the first period. It really didn't. And that's frustrating. But that's when you need to battle back and show you're a better team than that. Playoff teams battle back and show a little more. 14 shots looks nice on paper. But again, it's, to me, like you look at the quality of that and you look at the effort. And I'm sure, again, we're talking about wanting to hear from Andre Tourigny here. He's probably going to say something along the lines of, the effort got better, wasn't there in the first. I thought we played better as the game went on. All the cliches that you hear from the coaches. So, again, I know they have excuses. No team wants to use their excuses, but they have them. They're built in right now. The defensive struggles are part and parcel of the injuries and trying to get that together. You have a little bit more up front. But now here's the other thing that I'm going to wonder about this is, does a loss like this put more pressure on your general manager to make a move, to do something sooner than later? Because we were talking just the other day on the show, Robin and I, about, do you ride this one out a little bit? Do you let it, wander for a little bit, see what happens, see how it goes? Can you allow your team to try to find its way a little bit? So I think now all the attention goes from this game on a Tuesday to the game on Thursday. And that one gets huge in a hurry, because if you lose that in similar fashion or worse, unless it's a very close game, I think you are going to have questions. So looking ahead, I mean, it's Colorado at the Delta Center. The Avalanche started poorly, but they're getting better, and they are the Avalanche. You still have to respect that team. They still have Kel McCarr. They still have Nathan McKinnon. They are still a very good hockey team with a core of guys who did win a Stanley Cup not too long ago. So it went from maybe building momentum, beating Ottawa, perhaps picking up the last little stretch of Colorado not yet being good, to, well, you better show up against Colorado, and that's a hard team to show up against, especially after you come off a loss like this. So questions abound. You have them, I have them, we're going to have them for a little while yet. It's not going away anytime soon. So, all right, let's grab another break here, and let's see if we on the other side we'll get some comments from head coach Andre Tourigny. But in the meantime, as always, we do like to pay the bills here, and we will tell you about some of our fine sponsors of tonight's show just after this. And tonight's show brought to you in part by Game Time. Game Time's got a new feature right now called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I did the same thing when I used the Game Time app. I told you about that. I went to a game in Fenway, and I just sorted everything out. The other thing I did was I toggled on the all-in pricing. And to me, that's important, because I just want to know what I'm paying going out the door. Just tell me, how much are these seats? I want to know my bottom line price is this. So toggle that on, because it's not on by default, but it's a great feature. And make sure you have that on, because it shows you what you're going to pay for those seats out the door. You also can see what those seats are before you actually purchase them. You get a panoramic view from your seats in the app before you buy. They have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. And today's show is also brought to you in part by Prize Picks. And Prize Picks, right now you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So let's say you think Justin Jefferson's going to light it up, maybe more than 83.5 yards this week. Christian McCaffrey. I'm a big Bills fan, so I'm always looking at Josh Allen, seeing what he's going to do. And new addition, Amari Cooper, right? Okay, yeah, things are looking up for the Bills. Cook up your hot takes with your friends. Win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. So download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. So again, that is the code LOCKEDONNHL, and that gets you $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Download the app today. All right, Tom Callahan back here with you. Thank you so much for making us your first listen each and every single day here with the Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast. We very much appreciate you being here. And, it's been a tough one here tonight as we look back at this Ottawa game and just, again, looking inside the numbers and just looking at the stats and watching that game. Even in the third period, I felt like when the push could have been there a little more, it just wasn't as organized as it needs to be. And again, the excuses are there. You can lean on them if you want, but only 7 shots in the third. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for pushback. I was looking for anger. I was looking for fire. I was looking for somebody to drop the mitts and try to get it going. And we just ended up with a couple of cross-checking penalties. That was about the most exciting it went, is when Pinto and Gunther picked up those coincidental cross-checking penalties. Not anything to write home about. So I didn't see the pushback. I didn't see that fire in the belly. So that's what I would have liked to have seen. So at this point, I mean, yes, it's a little frustrating for Utah Hockey Club fans. So with that in the backdrop, let's go ahead and listen in before we wrap things up here tonight. We've got some clips from head coach Andre Tourny, and then we are going to wrap it up because don't forget, we've got more games coming up. One game doesn't make a season, but certainly we would like the Utah Hockey Club to have done a little bit better with that. All right, so here he is. Let's hear from the Bear.
That was a good drop-off. I think in our focus, I think we obviously came out strong, playing well, but we didn't stay in the moment. We get carried away, a little bit soft defensively, force a play, turnover, and just we had them where we wanted. We played well. We just need to stay patient, stay humble, go one shift at a time, and we got ahead of ourselves, and we paid for it.
What went into your decision to pull Ingram at the game?
Well, I think we needed a change of momentum at this point, and that's why we did that.
Was it tough to pull a goaltender?
No, it's not any different than the other player. I don't think you want that. I don't think you're looking for that. I don't wish that to any of our player, but it's just everybody in life has a bad day at the office sometimes, and I think when you're a goaltender, you're exposed more than anybody else.
Coach, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, obviously, if you're playing one of the best games of the season so far, you guys threw up apparently your worst game of the season tonight. How hard, but with a young team like this, how important is it to flush the film from this and get back to work tomorrow?
Well, I disagree. I don't think we played bad. I think we gave up 4 goals and we lost the game. We could not score, but I think we had a lot of opportunity. I think the shot were 8-0 or something like that. At the beginning, they scored their first opportunity, and then we forced it. Let's put it that way. I don't like our play at 4-on-4 since the beginning of the season. We gave a goal, if I'm not mistaken, in Anaheim or in Jersey. I don't remember. We gave up 2 tonight. We gave a short-ended goal, and we gave a goal on the face-off. The rest, didn't give him much, and we had a lot. We had a lot of opportunity, a lot of momentum. Our forecheck generate chances. I didn't like the way maybe we played in the third. We were too slow offensively, tried to do too much on our possession. But if you look, the first 2 periods, have no problem with our play except certain moment or we were not mature.
I know you've talked about having quality over quantity of shots. Did you like the shots that you got tonight?
Yeah, we had. I like the opportunity we had. I think the best opportunity we had, we missed the net. I think we had grade A chances where we didn't hit the net. I ton of respect for their goalie. Played a good game, made a few key saves, but I think we didn't test him enough. I think we didn't get enough rebound, enough traffic in front of him. We missed the net, like I said, on grade A chance. Every time we had a grade A chance, we missed the net. It's a breakaway or it's a slot shot or whatever. We didn't hit the net, so he was good, but How good? We don't know because we didn't hit the net.
All right, I saw moments ago my cat made a cameo there just before we went to go listen to Bear. So that was Bailey in the background. Say hi to Bailey if you want. Do you have a pet that watches games with you? Does someone get excited? When I used to call games a long time ago, this is a story I haven't told in a long time. So there was a family in Elmira, New York, that had trained their dog to go outside by saying door. And apparently, when I would say score, the dog thought someone was yelling door and would run for the door to try to go outside. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to not send your dog outside. I just want to let you know that there was a goal scored in this game. So if you have any pets, you know what? If you want to drop them in the comments, go right ahead. Or if you just want to put random cat memes in there, I'm totally cool with that too, because everybody's day is better with animals. So there you go. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us here. And again, Robin off today, but we'll be back on tomorrow's show. Tough one and the 4-0 loss here tonight. Just final thoughts for me. Hoping that we're going to see that pushback coming up for this Utah Hockey Club. I think they could really use something a little more just in the energy department, and hopefully it's out there someplace. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to see, especially against the Avalanche. It's not going to be an easy game. Not going to drop into a game preview here, but the Avalanche are no easy out. I know they haven't had the best start of the season, but that's a team of superstars, and that's a team that can do some damage. So hopefully Utah Hockey Club will be ready to go. All right, everybody, want to say thank you so much for tuning it in here this evening. Thank you for making Locked On Utah Hockey Club your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Become a fantasy hockey expert and get the edge over your league mates with daily tips from Steal and Flip. Find Locked On Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you next time. This has been Locked On Utah Hockey Club Podcast.